Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
bit loud. It's just all vocal at the moment.
The one on the yeah.
Take it down at least 2 notches, probably 3 notches.
Hare Krishna.
Nice balance.
Better?
Yeah,
Better?
that's it.
Mickey's a sound man.
I know. Just a bit overwhelming.
Do you want just the mantra or one with lyrics?
Well, for now, it's not.
Just the mantra.
Have we started yet?
We're started.
Is it?
See, it's like in life we think that things don't start till they're over. But here we start in the beginning.
We started when you arrived, really, didn't we?
Oh, it's in Nathan.
It was in the area.
Everything started when Nathan arrived.
Yeah, that's right.
Some strange reason.
You come and you can start now, guys, alright?
Okay, we're starting now.
We're starting.
We're starting now. So what are your notes now?
It's a C sharp.
A C sharp. Whoa. I might use
Minor.
a C sharp minor. Let me use a tambourine.
You don't have a C sharp on your...
I don't do sharps or minors or flats.
This is
In betweens.
it's a C minor.
What about you?
Don't do minors.
Don't you? You don't do minors. You don't have minors. They're emotional. Minors are
I was going to say,
emotional.
he's not a politician.
Well, they got a combination one.
That was House of the Rising Sun, wasn't it, that one?
That was.
Play a minor.
I've actually heard a Hare Krishna mantra to the House of the Rising Sun.
I think you can do it with anything. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
up and everything?
I think I'll start with tune, and you can sing. Then
Does anyone want to come up and sing?
a tune. I'll give you a tune.
Hold on, my phone's ringing.
That's
What are you doing? I'm singing.
it's too big.
In the boat.
Hello? I'm singing. I'm at
Is that a gig?
Not a gig.
I'm singing. No, I'm getting better. I got stung by a load of wasps.
I'm going to have a tune and also a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
I'm leaving Tuesday.
it's my daughter.
Playing rock festivals in my new band.
Okay,
Hold on a minute, can everyone say hello?
Hello.
Hi! Hello! Hello everybody from
Say
us.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, Grant, I'll sit down.
Okay, yeah, I'm alright. Okay, you enjoy Hobbo. She's in
Have you seen
Portugal.
my song?
Alright.
Nice
I
and rainy
painted it
here.
myself.
Bye.
I painted it myself.
You go over there then. Keep your guitar.
Oh, you want me to keep it? What chords you playing?
I know, next year I'm going to.
Yeah, I'm working on a Vedic farm.
Me and Pra's going to
That's
try.
that, yeah.
I'm going to play you a
Is that
massive
local?
here.
Is that local?
It's in Shenley, and it's all sort of back to basics, how Krishna taught that people should actually farm.
Great.
I'll put a spade for a
Big
wasp.
celebration.
Ah,
I
I don't
painted
think
it
it.
at the Jam
Yeah.
Krishna's
I got
birthday.
stung about
Man,
5
it's huge,
times.
huge festival.
It's a lot
Play
better the
there,
way it looks.
come and dance.
I promise you
And I
that.
want him to organise something in London. And we can-
That sounds amazing.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Yeah, I've got this
Yeah, it's great.
suit and I just Googling just get it. And more of a
Oh,
cartoon
right.
one.
Okay, yeah,
Just
you
traced
love
it
it. You've been there
with
before?
chalk and then painted it.
Yeah.
I finished it at 1
Okay,
o'clock
ready
in
to
the
go?
morning, the day before the gig.
What
It's
chords
still
you
wet.
playing?
Difficult chords.
It looks good though.
Always is with Tara.
Zip it up though.
There's an F.
Get it.
There's a C.
Oh,
There's another F. And there's an A sharp as well.
an A sharp.
Yeah.
An A sharp.
Got into an A sharp all
What
of a
did you
sudden.
do to get stung by wasps?
Put a spade for a wasp nest. It was in the ground. I was weeding,
And they come after
trying to
you.
make it straight. Well, as soon as one stung me, the rest chased.
That's the external reasons. You've done something else.
Yeah.
Your lymphatic system will be working overtime now.
It's just burning up his karma.
Yeah.
There's a verse in the Bhagavatam that says, one who continuously engages in devotional service while suffering the reactions from the past lives, for them the kingdom of God is his rightful claim.
Makes me feel a lot
So,
better.
so if you continue doing service to Krishna, despite suffering karmic reactions from your past life, then the kingdom of God is your rightful claim. And the Bhagavatam says it's liberation. But
Did you calm points?
There you go.
There you go.
That's all good.
okay, ready? Okay, this is all. Now, when you're doing kirtan, you don't have to respond to your own. You know, otherwise. Okay, here we go.
Even if it is just a Haywood.
F, C, up to F. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna One more? We'll do one more chanting and then we'll speak a few words. A few words. So the news for this week was if you're going past the train station, you get the local paper, Camden Journal. There's a nice article in there from this week's Camden Journal. Talks about our prashad, we call it prashad, our food distribution. It's our food distribution, because it's spiritual food. It's called prashad, which means the Lord's mercy. So we're distributing the Lord's mercy, and when you distribute the Lord's mercy, you also get the Lord's mercy. So it's in the spiritual world, when you give something away, you end up with more. Because and also what we've done is we had an interview with the it's a chap called Chunky Mark. He's a taxi driver, and a lot of the students watch his videos. So we had an interview with him, and he entitled the video because I mentioned that in the spiritual world every word is a song and every step is a dance. So people are not just walking around in the spiritual world, but they're dancing. They're very happy. In Sanskrit, also I mentioned that in the thing. It's in Sanskrit the word susukam kartam avayam. Actually, it's coming from which means it's joyfully performed. It's coming from one verse in the Bhagavad Gita that goes Raja Vijay Rajuguyam Papitam Idam Uttamam Paraksha Vagamam Dam Yam Susukam kartam avayam. So, translation Raja Vijay Rajuguyam. This is King of Knowledge. The most secret of all secrets is maybe not verse. There it goes something. This knowledge, the king of education, most secret of all secrets, is purest. It's the purest knowledge because it gives direct perception of the self by realization. It is everlasting and joyfully performed. So it gives direct perception of the self by realization. So in other words, it's not that someone has to tell you all the time what it is, but you'll understand by realization. In other words, it comes to you. In other words, it's not something that you have to read about, then you understand it, but it's something that you'll feel it, you'll understand it from within. And that's the whole thing of self-realization, is realizing who we are, the spirit, soul, eternal being. Not the material body, that's temporary, but goes beyond that. And people like this. When I was, we had a party actually in Hyde Park the other day with this taxi driver, Chunky Mark, and he was telling people about the change in consciousness, that everybody needs this change in consciousness, and that's what comes from when the soul is in touch with this Mahamantra, what we've just been chanting. Then there's a change of consciousness. Consciousness is a symptom of the soul. Cannot see consciousness. Just like you cannot see the wind, but you can see the leaves moving, knowing that the wind's there. So similarly, you feel consciousness in the body, and that consciousness is a symptom of the soul. Just like if you cut the blood circulation off, if you tie something strong around your finger, it goes numb, that means the soul is not getting through to that point, the blood's not flowing. So consciousness is it's a symptom of the soul, because the soul is like the powerhouse, situated in the heart, and generating generating life. Without the soul, there's no life. So this kind of knowledge is what we're trying to deliver to the whole world, because if you understand a little bit of that, then there would be no more room for war, no more room for greed, because the soul has nothing got to do with the material body, nothing got to do with the material world. It's just temporary here. It's like going through a wiki.
One thing I heard recently that they reckon they've weighed people
Yeah,
and they've been alive,
that's right.
and then the people have died and they're about so many grams
I
lighter.
think it's 1/16 or something. Yeah, there's a movie called that as well. The way.
But it's actually a scientific fact, isn't it?
Yeah, it could well be that there's a weight under the soul. There is something. I remember seeing a dog leaving its body. It got hit by a car, and I was chanting to it. And the dog, I could see the dog was just about to pass away. And then he opened his mouth and he coughed. And then I could see that the eyes change, colour change, something change. You know, I could see. I said, "My God, I could nearly see the soul leaving." You know, so the soul, when the body is no more suitable, like for this small dog that got hit by a car, the body is damaged. It's not much suitable. So now the soul leaves and takes another birth. Actually, I remember when my grandmother died, my mother was sure that she came back as a cat. Because a cat came to the house after she came back as a cat, and it could well be. Because very often, what you're attached to, you come back as. And if you haven't earned yourself a human birth, well then you might come back as an animal. You know, if you're people who are attached to eating meat and stuff. So, yeah.
And isn't it, depending on your activities, sometimes the soul is supposed to come out the mouth.
Yeah.
If you've done bad stuff, you fart, and the soul comes out the other way, doesn't it?
I've heard something like that. But actually, I'll tell you one thing about that. I was talking to one social worker, and who told me that there's a huge difference between a person dying, a pious person, and an impious person. Their faces and what they're, you know, it's a huge difference. Go on.
They say whatever you think of as the last moment you come back as. Is that right?
Well, partly. There's two items. It says, there's one verse, whatever state of being one is when one quits one body, at that point, that's your destination. But it also depends on your...
Your activities in the lifetime.
Yeah, your karma.
So it really depends on your activities in life, because if you've been a meat eater all your life and you're thinking of a rich man before you die, you're not going to come back as a rich man, are you?
No. But often what you've done in this life also reflects on what you're going to be thinking, reflects on your consciousness. You know, if you've been a cheating businessman all your life, banker or whatever, at the point of death you might be thinking about your money, you know. And you could end up like, if you aren't really working hard, like collecting, you might end up like an ant who spends all day working, collecting stuff for the colony or whatever, you know, working really hard.
Or the story with the man with the big house, who loved his house. But, you know, he's thinking about his house and the house comes back as the little mouse that lives in the cellar.
Yeah. Like that's very...
So his house seems even bigger.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the last thing going through his mind is my house. You know? So he gets a chance to live in his house again as a little mouse or something.
And it could even take birth, and after the mouse, maybe a cat, maybe a dog, and then finally a human being again. And then you get a chance again, which is this piece of knowledge. Without knowing this, nothing makes sense in the material world. Religion doesn't make any sense, because the idea that you're born once and you got one chance, you go to hell eternally or heaven eternally, and so that's why intelligent people are rejecting religion for this, because it means that God is some kind of like devil-like person who, you know, you do something wrong, you steal a loaf of bread to feed your family or something, you know, and you end up going to hell forever and ever and ever. And then some guy's born with a silver spoon in his mouth, and some guy's born with, you know, in a jungle somewhere in a slum in Delhi, or, you know. So but actually it's all part of our journey. With many journeys.
What about those people that have their stories about, oh, in a past life they were like Helen of Troy or something.
Yeah. Well, usually it could be, but it's often unlikely.
I usually live in Glastonbury.
Yeah, you usually smoke a lot. No, but when I heard the story from Ratnavali, who was in her last life, she was a devotee. It made sense to me because I think everybody knows Ratnavali, or most of you do. She lives across the road, and what happened? Her understanding was in her past life she was a devotee in Scotland. And there was one devotee called Kishore. He was driving the car and he fell asleep and he crashed into a tree. And that person, his name is Raghava, he died in the accident. He was nearly cut in half. And then, so a few months after that, 9 months after that, Ratnavali was born. So the same temple president was there as Tribhuvanat. So she becomes a devotee and serves under Tribhuvanat. So this part makes sense. And also this Raghava, he liked this Indian girl called Savitri. So Raghava in his next birth becomes a girl. So that also makes sense. So her story is making sense. And then she had birthmarks that would correspond to the injuries. And then she could remember the temple and remember different things. And she's frightened of dogs because Raghava got bitten by a dog. And there's many things like this. So this makes sense. But she said, yeah, my last life I was, somebody super, super famous, then, you can, maybe not, But this part of the philosophy makes sense, because whatever state you're in, and also because he was a devotee but hadn't perfected his spiritual life, so he'd have to take birth again. He'd only started in his spiritual life. So he's only like 1 year in the movement, and so in the next birth she's a woman, and she continues in her Krishna consciousness. So for me that makes, I've no problem with that, But it's some people can remember their last life. Actually, I kind of remember something of one of my last lives. That I was actually in Napoleon's army, and I was killed. But when I was very young, I was very attracted to Napoleon, and when I found out he lost the battle in Waterloo, I was very disappointed. And then I was in Nottingham one time, and there was a carnival, and there was these guys on horses, dressed in British uniforms with the big hats and with the swords, and I was like having a panic. I was having like a panic attack. I was like, oh God, So but that's like, I've no definite proof on that, but that's what I personally, I think, that makes sense. And also being born in Ireland, because we liked the French, we didn't like the English, because they were helping us and blah, 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 So somehow I was allowed this kind of, like flashbacks, And it's described as the child in the womb, if it's fortunate, can remember 100 lives, past lives. But the pain of birth, the child forgets everything. So, because also we wouldn't want to, living in the material world, we have a propensity to forget things. Like we can't remember usually when we were 1 year old, 2 year old, maybe 3 year old might be able to remember something. We forget. Because also if we didn't forget and we could remember all the suffering we've had in our life, then you find it hard to live life. Because you have so much, oh gosh, you're suffering, I suffered yesterday, but you forget, like in a few weeks Grant will forget about wasps, start playing with them again. It's just forget, and that's part of the Christian's arrangement. It gives people the opportunity to enjoy their life in the material world, so-called enjoy. You have your chance to do whatever you want in the material world, but he leaves the door open that, well, when you get tired of this material world, then you can turn towards me. It's like you have the prodigal son story, he does all this stuff, but eventually, he goes back, So we described it as like a fish out of water. The fish, it doesn't matter what he does, he's only happy when he returns back into the ocean. So we're like that. Spirit, soul, we're not meant to be in a temporary material body, but we're meant to be in a loving atmosphere in the spiritual world.
But is it useful to sort of remember the past lives, like perhaps remember the mistakes we might have made
Yeah.
so that we can correct them in this life? Because I think a lot of problems that we have now is because of a past life, but
Yeah.
we can't remember it, so we'll just keep doing the same thing over. So why not learn about what that was and stop it?
Yeah, yeah. No, good point. But also, there's so many. We don't. I mean, like you remember the suffering, or remember what the lessons. A lot of people don't learn too many lessons. You know.
Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, I have read about it where somebody was having a situation and then they had this past life regression and they found out, well, this happened because in the past life
Yeah.
I did that to that person and
That's
that's why
right.
this is happening to
That's
me.
right. Yeah. No. I've met people. Our friend Jaidev, who's a drummer, he does all this regression stuff. No, and you can understand why you have a phobia about something, or it's not going to stop your how to say. It's like astrology. It's not going to change your destiny, but at least you know, okay, next year I'm going to suffer this way, that way, my health's going to go downhill, or something's going to happen, or I'm going to become very wealthy next year, according to my astrology. And then when you start finding money, you start understanding, yeah, this is my destiny. It doesn't mean that because you study your astrology that you're not going to do the things that you do. You know, it's just that as soon as you're born, your destiny is pretty much there. How much money you'll have, how much children, how
many opportunities,
how much happiness, how many opportunities, all different things. But that's just your material karma. And by taking the spiritual life, you can change that because it's outside of the laws of nature. You have good activities, you have bad activities, and then you have spiritual activities. A person who finds a fiver in the street because he gave a fiver away in his last life, or maybe this life. Somebody punched somebody in the head, gets a punch in this life. You know, it's just action and reaction. The animals don't experience karma because their karma is when they're born into the animal species. And then when they're in the animal's body, they're just doing what the animals are supposed to do.
So what kind of karma is it if they get hit by a car?
An animal? It was just their time was up.
You get a certain amount of breaths when
Yeah.
you're born.
You run out your breaths, then, you know, it all looks like it's well, if the animal had come 5 minutes earlier, he would have crossed the road and wouldn't have been hit by a car. But, you know, it was his destiny to... He had so many breaths to live, and now he's taken birth as an animal with higher consciousness until finally he comes to a human being. And then in a human form of life, then he gets a chance to... in this Vedic scripture, it says, the first line is Atato Brahma Jignasya. Now that you come to the human birth, realize yourself. So that's what it's saying. Now that you're finally become a human being, now realize who you are. Because the animals are not interested. They can make spiritual advancement, but they're not interested in discussing philosophy like us. You know, the pigeons are not discussing. They might be talking about where there's some good food, or where they find some. There was a loaf of bread down the road. Come on, let's go down. They're clever birds. I mean, we took these pigeons. We had them from the manor. I captured them because too many pigeons. I took them away and released them, and they just took out of the box and just went beeline straight back for the manor. I got back before me. You know? So they have a little GPS system, you know, built in, you know, and they just, you know, they're covered in a blanket, you know, open the car, they just took off exactly the right direction, you know, they knew exactly. And pigeons, when I'm doing the food in Kentish Town, Camden, the pigeons come at that exact time, they know I'm going to be there.
They clean up, don't they?
And yeah, they pick up all the crumbs that the homeless people drop.
And the bloke upstairs films them.
Yeah.
I was watching QI not too long ago, and he was saying that they found out that pigeons have this, like a habitual thing. So, like, if you feed them some food at Tuesday at 2 o'clock, then they'll probably come back again at Tuesday at 2 o'clock because that's where they got food, whether or not that's true or not. Like you lost your keys and you think, okay, well I was doing this when I lost the keys, or I found £5 when I was doing this, and so I'll come back and see if there's £5 again.
I used to be looking after the cows, and I'd take them down from the mountains, and we had a big pile of manure, and the cows would walk around the manure and into the cow shed. And then one day we took all the manure away, and the cows walked down and they did a little circle around. Just for the first day, they did a little circle around where the manure was. And I was thinking like, that's not right, you know. So, you know, yeah, habits. Okay, we'll do a little bit more chanting. It's your axe, Grant.
Okay.
So any other questions so far? So this mantra we're chanting, it's recommended in all the scriptures. I mean, well, not all the scriptures. Chanting the holy names is recommended in all the scriptures, every scripture in the world. The Mahamantra is recommended by Lord Chaitanya. Ooh. And it can be sung anywhere, any kind of instrument, because we're guitar men. We like our guitars. Okay. An A minor, a G, an F, and a G. Twice, and then it'll be a C, G, F, G. Anyway, here we go. Something like that. Can't look from out. Here we go.
All along the watchtower.
So once you come in touch with the soul, then what is the nature of the soul? What it's going to do? What it's going to feel, think? It's not like it's all, okay, just a big light, but it's all full of personality. And actually, to understand the soul, then you understand Krishna, because Krishna and the soul are friends. They're friends. And through one of our highest, you could say, philosophy books is Chaitanya Charitamrita, and it's all about the great ecstasy that Lord Chaitanya, who is Krishna, came. It is like you could look like a statue. He is feeling great ecstasy. So I was explaining to Jen, who works in the shop, I was explaining that it's like Lord Buddha when he's meditating. When finally he hits that ecstasy, he's not going to sit down anymore. He's going to get up and dance. He's going to get up and dance, and he's going to sing. So when the pure love is experienced by the devotee, he gets up and dances and up and sings, because he's in touch with his energy that's connected to the soul. So anyway, it's a wonderful thing. It's not that because we chant every day, we experience this pure love every day, where we get some little taste. And if you get a chance to read some of the Bhagavad Gita, which brings you onto Lord Chaitanya, which brings you onto the whole level of pure love. In Sanskrit, in English, there's only one word for love, but in Sanskrit there's two words. There's kama and there's prema.
The French have got about 5, you know that?
Hmm?
The French have got about 5.
You're 5 in French. You're French, I tell you.
Different relationships, you
I
know?
know.
I studied French, yeah.
Yeah, I bet you did, Mickey. Sparkle. so English only one word for love, but actually, yeah, the French maybe have 5 words, but it might all be still based around kama. But pure love is beyond the body. This is prema. So we call it, what we want to achieve is what's called prema bhakti. It is pure love. So that's what Krishna consciousness is offering, is a chance to experience pure love. So I'm going to serve Prashad. Maybe Grant will do us another.
Give us a tune.
All right.
Yeah, sure.
No.
I know, we're okay.
This one's got lyrics, but it's got the mantra in there as well. Croydon. I won't sing the second part. I'll expect you to sing it and know it.
No, I'm busy tomorrow.
Okay. It's called Conditioned Souls. I wrote this a few years ago.
Yeah, I'll be there. See Croydon. Got things going on tomorrow. Stop giving me sound, yeah?
Can't go on no more. Can't go on no more. Can't go on no more. Walking through the lights. Can't go on no more. Can't go on no more. Can't go on no more. Shine on me tonight. Always asking what the hell I'm doing here. Got this feeling that I've been here once before. Come to realize this body is not me. Self-realization is high pros. I'm materialistically worn out. Can't go on no more. Can't go on no more.
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Asking what the hell I'm doing here. Got this feeling that I've been here once before. Come to realize this body is not place. Self-realization inside grows until you see the truth from the heart. All remain confession souls. All remain confession souls. All remain confession souls. All remain confession souls. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
So we're having a festival. So I've been a bit opportunistic, handing out flyers. But we have a festival in Dartford in 2 weeks. I know it's a distance away, but everyone's welcome to come. It's a kind of a hall program. So we hired a hall for the evening, and we'll have kirtan like we've done now. We'll have some prasadam, some gorgeous vegetarian food. We'll have a talk, a philosophy talk. We'll have some videos about Krishna consciousness. We'll probably have a drama, a dance. So it's kind of a very relaxed evening for about 100 people. So I've been out in Dartford today with some other devotees doing some leaflet delivery and poster distribution. So I've been a bit opportunistic, handing out flyers.
You have to do it.
Yeah, and so if anyone's free tomorrow as well, at 1 o'clock, we're in Dartford doing a Harinam, which is we're singing and dancing through the streets, promoting the festival. So if anyone wants to join us, please do.
How far is this dark?
It's about maybe 50 minutes, I think, driving. 50 minutes. It's kind of East London. I'm not from London, so I don't really understand. Southeast, yeah. Southeast.
Just through the tunnel.
Yeah.
The other side.
And pay before you go
That's right.
online because you get 70.
Yeah. The net is so difficult.
Yeah. I actually need to pay before midnight tonight.
No, I was looking for the toll and,
Yeah.
you know, thing and
I think you're just catching people out.
they were so dear of you know.
And then Sunday Seawall in Croydon. Hare Krishna.
Hey. You haven't missed the dog. You get the best.
I'm sorry. Did anybody manage to come to the festival yesterday? I don't know who is aware and who is not. Yesterday was the first in a whole year's worth of celebrations of 50th anniversary of the foundation of ISKCON, and yesterday was the actual date, 50 years ago, when Prabhupada boarded the Jaladuta, the cargo ship on which he went to America. So this is about the whole. Anybody wants to? Did you get one? They launched it yesterday. Do you remember?
I don't know.
Yeah. Where shall I put it next to it?
It's very nice, Parasuram. Very nice.
That was very simple. It was just
Very filling. Very
little
nice.
steamed veg.
These are really tasty.
Hare Krishna.
Where's that?
Yeah.
Can you
So,
make a paper again?
Yeah,
Well,
I'm shoving right.
okay, I was putting that from
It's a light. It's a light.
Huh?
It's very
How
light.
about with the prasadam in your stomach? That's one.
No, I'm just getting on a bus and then a plane and all that, so I mean, travel light, but thanks anyway. Yeah.
Is there no Safa this year?
What is?
It's not on the list. When is it? It's normally around Jobmaster.
Next week.
It's the 22nd.
Yeah, next week. We've got
Which Sunday?
Croydon Sunday.
22nd of August.
Oh, is it the
Saturday, that's
same?
Saturday, that's next Saturday. But we're doing Croydon tomorrow, Sunday.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Nicky was a drummer there one year.
I was. Maybe I'm a bit of a rock star.
So, Gary said if you want to come to the Harryland tomorrow, you're more than welcome.
I'll try, but I think I'm driving.
He'll be busy, he'll be busy.
I'm short of drivers, you know.
Busy tomorrow.
There's a push out of the distribution.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm short of drivers. I'll try.
Oopsie. What's that?
You should come to the one that we have in London tomorrow night. That's
There's
amazing.
boardrooms, huh?
Harryland. I think I'm coming actually.
Like at night, it's like all the people that go out, you know, and then they see us and they're like, wow, that's where the party is, and then we go down into the tube station and the people are looking around like,
yeah.
what?
I think Gary and Matt Nally are coming tomorrow.
Definitely flash mob, you know what I mean?
You missed it last week. I don't know what that devotee's name is, but they started doing like a thriller dance, and it was the most funniest thing I've ever seen. He had all the devotees and they were doing this dance where they would be like this and like that.
Right.
And they were doing it, it was hilarious. It's a shame you missed it. I couldn't stop laughing.
Is the biscuit to be served as well?
There's some of the devotees at the Sarah temple. Tammy and Raj, they're very good dancers.
You know,
Might be them.
make a paper for our friends here.
No, this one is, he's Iranian. He's English, but he's Iranian, he wears spectacles.
Oh,
And he's a good Japanese.
Cheetah.
I had a great
It's like shortish kind of.
Yeah, he lives in the manor.
Yeah. His nickname's a cheetah, it's really
See, I'm
direct.
trying to-
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah, he's a real character.
He really is.
Yeah.
Maybe don't throw off one. Oh, that's... I did that for the band way back.
Okay.
Great story though. Security guard, eh?
It's so good. I love your deities, Tara. The ones up here. Very nice.
Thanks for that, though.
Very beautiful.
Who is the little deity with the umbrella that sits on the lotus flower?
He's not up there.
No.
Where did you see him? Solar
I
Street.
saw him in the temple.
You saw him at Solar Street.
stone, yeah?
Krishna and Radha, middleman with an umbrella on a lotus fruit.
Oh, Giriraj.
Security guard.
Sword.
Giriraj from.
He's at Solar Street, is he, Oscar?
Yes.
Is he on the altar at Solar Street?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
I
like a
think I know
stone
there's
or a rock.
goal.
A
No?
stone on a rock with
Spicy
a
ball.
lotus fruit and an umbrella.
Alright.
I think they might have run out. Have a look in that white bag. There might be some of these spicy balls there.
I think
No, there is. Oh, there is one.
Sure is.
Thank you.
What spices are in here? Is it secrets?
Yeah, secrets.
So Southern Road Theatre is next Saturday.
Next Saturday.
That's next Sunday.
Sorry?
Sunday.
Sunday.
Sunday's the 23rd.
Yeah.
Saturday's the ISKCON National Convention.
Saturday's the 22nd, because I'm playing against Sunday.
It's the Sunday.
That's 23rd.
Oh, good, because Saturday we also have open day at Soho Street, so please come, those who are new, it's specifically aimed at new people, and those who want to do service, we always need more people to do Harinam, talk to people. So it doesn't coincide with the Saturday thing. We will be distributing flyers about it.
That's so much wrong, there's so many things to do all the time, you know, so many festivals. That's like
A festival on Sunday in Croydon.
Especially in summer.
Croydon Rathiatra,
Yeah.
Key Jai.
Really?
Yeah.
So all the Rathiatras are like dominoes, boom, this one, that one, that one.
Well, we should have them up with that.
Yeah.
In London,
It's about
as well.
20.
Every area in London should have a look at
20,
in the UK.
Like Marcus or something said, well, we could have up there for every day.
Yeah, the
We
first
just do
one's
it, we had the
in May, and the
Brussels
last
days.
one's like October. Discussions over the first month.
That's what we're doing in Scandinavia.
growing then.
Yeah.
We do a tour
We
around
had
the
Reading,
festival.
we had one in Reading last week, that was the third. So that's quite
I was in near Cardiff and the devotees stopped
And
in the
that's
street.
when we go camping.
Yeah, August 1st, I think. Yeah.
Which one is this?
You lived in Cardiff, right?
I wasn't in Cardiff until I was
Where is this? It's on
Bridget.
later.
I think he comes in, there's a Swansea,
It's on the way to Kent.
a base in Swansea,
Yeah.
I think it was from that thing.
and then he's up in the upper place in
vacuum cleaner?
Outskirts.
For this? No, it's a little, is it?
Oh, I've got you.
I was in Bridget
Oh,
advising
right here.
on
Are you
holiday
not
with my
working
family.
Right?
Are you not working?
Oh, okay.
Graves End. Can't work in your Graves End.
Semi-retired,
Which, if
This
we
is
go there,
David.
which part of North London?
Dharma Dave.
Dharma Dave, mate.
Often, on Friday.
Ah, so it's not far from
Anyone for any more?
Still in Garnsville.
Another spoon? Biscuit?
It's
got your name on it.
No, well,
Any more for any more?
I live in St Albans, so it's a bit far.
Any more for any more?
I think
Serving?
if my family's
Yes.
gone off somewhere,
Sure.
I've got an open window to come down.
That one was one of the best. This is good too, but that one was one of the best ones.
Yes, this.
You just
I'm a
quickly
bit busy at the
put
moment.
something
Some
in.
more?
Yeah,
Ah.
I know.
Oh, just a bit more.
9-year-old
Any more subject for anyone? Spoon more, sir? One more spoon? Yeah?
I mean, you don't
I
actually
don't
need
know if you've been
to,
aware of Christian.
but we are
Before I
so used to,
got
but
married,
actually brings out the flavour of if you use it.
quite a bit.
I love the accent.
Was there Rathiatra in Croydon?
Yes.
When?
Sunday. Coming down?
I want to go.
Yeah.
How can I get
That
there?
was when
I've no idea where to
temple
go
was
to.
in Berry Place.
Well, meet us at the manor.
78, yeah.
Yeah.
Come back to the manor with power on Saturday night and crash out in the stable and, you know, go in the, we're going in the
You
morning.
weren't born then.
No, well, before I was in
Yeah,
this
but I
life,
have to ask.
Yeah.
born in
I've
84.
never spent the night there without asking Dad up for
Just crash out in one of the cow sheds or something.
It's not.
Obviously, if you
Croydon
belong,
is-
you're gonna get
Croydon's a bus ride away.
But you are still, you live in South London, so
more
where
now.
I live.
Just get on the bus, innit?
Yeah, well, it's,
Bus
I mean,
ride.
I live much longer, further away. To me, it's really far.
I mean,
Croydon
I
will
mean,
take me longer than
What
to get
zone
there.
is Croydon?
Went to a Harry Christian temple. That
I'm not sure, but
I think
it's
there's a bus
on
from
the,
I was
Brixton.
involved briefly with them.
I think Brixton is a bus from Brixton.
but if you are going by Tunot train, if you are, because you live quite further out, because it's outer zones, it will be very cheap. It will be like a bus drive.
Every day is like
Yeah.
really more.
Because you have, I have no idea, just check it out.
I know that there's a bus from Brixton.
working for you.
Or
Yeah.
Elephant Castle, something like that. Elephant Castle, Brixton. I
Changing
don't know.
the world.
Just go on, have you got internet?
I'm going at my own pace because.
Go by train because it's, you are going from an outer zone into an outer zone, it will be cheap.
What, you mean the tube?
Yeah, or train. It's actually train. There's both the train and the tube station. You need to check it out. You do your homework. If you're planning to go to this, go check out.
Do you know, what's her name? That Irish girl. That Irish girl that comes here. You hang out with her. She was at that march. The Irish girl that was dancing with you at that march we went on. In June. The austerity march.
Your steel march.
Come to you.
Are you doing any marches?
Yeah.
Are you sure
Are
she
you doing
knows?
any marches coming up?
Lou can't
Oh,
mind.
Lou.
Yes.
Is she Irish?
Yeah, she's Irish descent. She
Doesn't
lives in
sound
Croydon
Irish.
and she'd know the buses.
Oh.
She'd know all the bus routes and that. 'cause she
Is it
lives in
this
Croydon.
Sunday?
Yes.
How am I going to find where it is?
A little bit, half a lot.
The Rugby actually.
Yeah,
What
it's
do you
But
do?
it's very
Park.
close. You
It's
just
in the
go to
park.
the main shopping area.
We'll be
Main
in the,
shopping
we'll be in
centre.
the
When you
shopping
get there-
area around about 12 and then there's a big park. Right, and we go back to the park for the festival.
yeah.
You'll find it. It's just
No,
right in
you
the
just
centre.
ask them where is the main shopping area.
They come in, they give me.
All these drop theatres are where the main shopping area
There's
is.
a huge theatre,
Sorry.
Fairfield Hall, Croydon, big venue. We're outside there. That's in the centre. It's
Well, good problem.
It's
When you
buses
cut your
from, I
hair.
think, Brixton or-
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
Brixton.
I did it 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Yeah.
It's more than that.
Yeah, just pay
I just wanted to see if how.
We'll come
how-
to Manor tomorrow
Because
night.
you are
I'm not really happy with it.
where are you? Which zone are you in?
So you're doing well, yeah?
Yeah.
Well,
I saw you at the manor meeting.
so because it's not a central zone,
3-4 weeks.
Yeah.
and because
You
you're
don't
ending
choose
up in
before
another zone, it will
playing
be the
with
same
the
price,
time.
almost the same price as a one bus journey. But if you go by bus, it will take you hours, and you will
Oh,
have
the thing is,
additional-
I went last just.
So it will cost you more if you
Yeah, I've been in Ireland.
No, I'm just saying, if you are.
So like when
Oh, yeah.
I don't know whether
Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw you more than me.
I was in Ireland.
Yeah.
I don't have any
Yeah.
money for women to go to money.
Yeah, I just went like.
This is next week.
Week Thursday, so just
I don't know,
over
it
2 weeks away.
depends.
A week
Depends on
Thursday.
where it is.
Yeah.
Must be about 8 o'clock.
If you don't know your route,
I'll
we are
post
trying
Oh,
to
today.
Well, I drive, so I can take
Yeah, I mean I can get there, but it just like I've got
4
a travel
people with
card
me
that
in
only
my car.
covers zones 1 through 4.
if they want
And
to come
if it's
next
like
Thursday.
5 or 6,
I can.
my card is going to go in debt because it
If
doesn't.
you want to offer lips
it's
to
not
people,
covered
yeah, I mean,
throughout.
is it Friday today?
Yes,
Yeah.
So just under 2 weeks
all
away.
day.
which one?
Crap.
Dartford
Do you want to
Festival.
go to this one next
That's
Thursday?
too far.
I got a car.
It's like, if you, it's not really.
Well, if you- look, she's got a car. She'll take
It
the
just
Croydon.
feels.
I got a
You
car.
They don't have theatre. That's
Say
a
the
big
Croydon.
street festival.
can stand in the car,
Brighton.
put your tan on it.
No, ask her.
That's
Yesterday.
today. That's the big
Yesterday.
street festival.
Promoting
Yeah.
the festival.
When?
On the seaside,
It didn't
that's
feel like a long
something like
drive
30th
because I
of
was
September,
chanting.
mid-September, on a Saturday or Sunday. I can't remember. I need to check the date. Because if you have a car, I don't have the money to take the train out. I'll go with you. Where do you live?
That's what you need. Everyone needs a car.
Gospel Oak, not far. Kentish Town, not far from Kentish
Because I live in East London.
You live in
I can
London
get into
somewhere?
town. It's just
Okay.
it
What do you
costs a lot
You're
of
living
money
in
to get
London?
into.
You
Right.
live in the
Okay.
It's stepping. No.
More than £20.
In the green.
Yeah, it would be.
It's stepping in. Yes.
Stepney.
So what
Stepney.
about, what's the thing
Yeah,
with
between
dogs
Whitechapel
there
and my
then?
Yeah.
With what?
Dogs.
Why?
I just wondered.
It's not like your event.
Conversation.
Do you have a job?
Well,
I try and get someone to look after them, actually,
where are you
because
staying right now?
when people dancing around, Dottie would like to
In the
join
back of a
them.
van.
Yeah, it doesn't
She's
matter.
rather big.
Oh,
I'm
Why
really
don't you want me-
I'm staying in the back of the van.
Festival.
In the back of the van.
So it's good.
I'm just doing like travelling, promoting festivals and things.
We've got a caravan van.
Someone else's van.
come tomorrow evening to our big
It's a
our
festival
big team
team
goes
van.
through
Oh,
town.
It's a big
And then
grey
you'll see,
van.
or if you come to
It's
Croydon,
about
it's
30 years
Sunday.
old.
It's the same
Sorry,
time.
still
Can't do
Gary's
it on
van.
Sunday.
Last Saturday.
I'm staying in there at the minute.
Tomorrow,
Yeah.
tomorrow
In his
it's
van?
my dog
Bit of an
picture
adventure.
day.
Have you seen it?
Right. So every Saturday we have a big team going
But I
out
think
on the
I have.
street chanting.
It was yellow and now it's grey.
And our therapy is the
Like a
same, but we
shampoo.
also have a
Is
chariot.
it like inside there's a mattress?
So then you will have an
Yes,
idea.
it's
Have you
a-
ever
it's a-
seen
it's a
it when
listen
we go
band.
on the
It's
streets
like
chanting? It's a big team, not just
I think I might have seen him at Stonebridge.
I used to
Yes,
follow them when
have you
I was
seen
a
it
little
done?
girl
Yeah.
down Rosebery
I drove
Avenue.
it there.
Did
She
you?
was too tired to drive.
Oh.
Yeah.
We'd never seen anything like it.
I was only in there because I needed to
Where was that?
change my clothes. It was really cold that night, so I went in there and I was like, look at this.
How are you?
There's a bed.
Do you want to drive back
There's-
to my magnet? Or
Yeah.
But that's what we are celebrating.
You live in
the
London?
whole
Yeah.
year.
I
Yeah.
live in South East
I
London.
would-
Did you
Okay.
come yesterday? This
I was
was
there Wednesday night, so I was
Any more
not-
biscuits?
On Fridays all the time?
But did you come yesterday? Or?
Yes, sir.
Most of the time, not all the time.
Biscuit, my friend?
Yeah.
Homemade, yeah, first time in this program. It's my first time at this. I mean,
Nice biscuit.
for the Friday night.
Just say, yeah, alright, there you go.
If you're
I
a
want
I
that
like the
crack
festival
cream.
team. I do a lot of travelling.
Anybody heard of
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
road,
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
stuff with
yeah.
you.
Has everybody heard of Jack Cream? Yes.
Very nice thing there.
Everyone's heard of Jack Cream.
Manor tomorrow.
Big concert at the Manor.
Is it
Hour and a
concert
half.
tomorrow?
Hour and a half concert.
She's playing at the Manor tomorrow. She's doing an hour and a half concert.
When? What time?
Come sit as a support band.
Is there any more then?
Yeah. Do you want some more?
What time is she
Biscuits
playing?
there. Look at that. About 6ish.
She's starting
I'll go back with Dave. Shoving home and stuff for you.
Right.
You going now?
Yeah, this person there. She's quite big in
Any more like any more or any takeaways?
Yogi Wells, like.
I'm going to take mine away.
There's biscuits there, look.
Yeah.
Right, so I want 2 plates, so do you want some?
I'm just saying, she's playing tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Grab them, grab the plates.
But we also have holly dogs.
I'm going to do the Harrington tomorrow night.
Yeah, it's
It's been about 6 months.
so much fun.
Anyone want some bits?
Am I going to be late? Go on, lad. Don't do biscuits anymore. I'm off the gluten. It's bad. Give them out,
Can I
mate.
give them a honey down in these?
It's not for shard.
Ginger snap biscuits.
Grab 2 plates.
No, I'm fine. Yeah.
I've done the
You got enough, Zara, yeah?
I've got one
Do
down.
you want another spoon?
spoon?
Zara, do you want another spoon? Anyone like any more before we go?
I've got to supply all my equipment tomorrow.
You have more, Gertrude?
Oh, no.
No, Gertrude's not. No, it's fine. It's fine. I just like to have a plate just to cover this.
Is there a tissue? Someone say
No, you have to.
I'll give you a paper plate, alright?
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I'll leave it to you.
Thank you very much.
Alright, thank you.
Alright.
Thanks for coming.
Oh, I was in the area. Literally over there.
In the area.
We've just come out from Dartford. I've got to go and pay my toll fees online.
It's a terrible
midnight.
thing to toll.
Yeah, it's only £2.50, but it's still. I'd rather just pay there than go online before
Loads
midnight
of people,
before I get to
use like truck drivers or people going through Europe or something, they can't get on the computer and do their stuff. You know?
The toll's no good if you're on the dole.
It's like when we go in Scandinavia and we're going through some toll road.
I'll show you a sheep.
You've got to get one of these little boxes.
Oh,
No, you get an all
myself.
machine, you know what I mean? That's what you've got to get. Sits on your dashboard. Yeah, there's a little box. Yeah, and it just does it
I want to come to
automatically.
Brighton with us on September the 13th by drive.
I'm not going to
Right, really?
I'll take the day. If you come tomorrow,
I can't come tomorrow. Weekends are full up now.
Oh, but it's either a Saturday or a Sunday.
What's happening in Brighton?
There's a place.
No, Brighton.
Yep.
Do you help us with these?
Yeah.
Every day.
Really
You with Dave then?
I'm going to go with Dave.
Well, that's
Yeah,
what
we've got to
I'm
catch
saying
up.
now, because they
Okay,
don't
I've looked here.
You and me.
Every day Christian
Come with us then. We go. We're here next week anyway, aren't we? So,
Can you just carry this up and leave it on the top of the stairs for me, yeah?
okay.
come on, honey,
I've got to
tomorrow.
go.
Oh, they took it already. Oh no. Do you have clean hands?
I will wash them.
Oh, anyway, that's good thing.
Who is the speaker today?
Parasuram.
His grace.
Hare Krishna.
Harry Bell, good to see
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Thanks for leading the kirtan.
Ah, it's cool.
Very good, I like it.
See you again.
See you again,
See
sir.
you.
No, I didn't have the time for the fireworks.
So you meeting your family?
Yeah,
after
this is
someone?
the event,
With
all the
some
festivals
friends.
and events.
I've got a window opportunity.
Because when you have young people, those windows of freedom don't happen often, do they? Once a year.
So who wants a lift to this then?
I need to check where it is, but I definitely want to live to Brighton when it's Friday. If you are going, then I think
Yes. I'll get someone to look after the dogs because otherwise I tend to focus on the dogs and not on the festival. No, I do. One is a very small one, a Chihuahua. Another one is a very big one.
Your children.
They are. They are very much. They give me a great deal of joy, my animals. I spend a lot of time doing all sorts of things.
Haribol.
It's good.
Haribol.
Very nice.
Good to
Nice
see you,
to
brother.
see you.
You too, brother.
Take care,
Yeah,
yeah?
you too.
I will see.
Yeah, maybe I will go that place.
The
Yeah.
festival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'll do the Harinam tomorrow night as well.
Yeah, Soho.
Yeah.
Can people
Might
stop
see you
saying,
later.
I do the Harinam, so say I'm coming on Harinam, because if you say you are doing the Harinam, that means that it, you know, you are doing it in the sense that I'm going to lead, I'm going
I'm
to
coming
do
on the Harinam.
It's like when people say so, see, oh, so I can't come on Harinam, I'm doing arti. Doing arti means that you are offering, you know, the auspicious items to the deities or something like that.
Harinam.
Yeah, sorry about that. It's
No,
just
it's fine.
funny. It's funny.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm glad that you're going to the festival and coming along. It's gonna be good.
I get my dogs out. They get 3 hours exercise. They're cool.
Every day.
Pretty much. Usually 2. If I'm
Two is
really-
not a lot. A
You
lot
have
of
to
people
take them out for 3 hours.
don't bother with two.
My girl, she's a big girl. She's beautiful. She's a pointer. They're born for running and being outside. I think if you take a dog on, you should respect what it wants. You know?
Yeah, you shouldn't lock them in. Some
You
people
shouldn't
keep
just
them in a
do
flat
that.
all the
You know,
time.
it's not fair. So when the weather's a bit crap and stuff, we were at dog school on Thursday. God, it was pouring, wasn't it, on Thursday? Thunder. We were soaked. We still do our lessons outside. Then when you get in, it's lovely.
Cozy.
Dry.
Fire on it.
Yeah, take your wet, soggy socks off and
Wasn't I?
Does anyone see my umbrella back behind the chair?
Is it raining?
This one, quite heavily.
See, this is the
Interior world.
joy of dogs as well. You know, we have to
The reason
go.
why we're not happy is we don't belong here.
Oh, I'll try, but I really
Happy
have
with
no
rain
so I don't know
and
how
pain
to
and
do it.
stuff.
I don't mind it.
Yeah, but she
Rain.
Get used to it. Sometimes I feel I really don't want to go on the heath. It's horrible. It's cold, it's windy, it's rainy.
Where's this?
When I take my dog out most days, Dottie and Ollie,
Yeah.
and you know, and I think, oh, it's really crap out there and it's nasty. And never have I felt worse when I come in. I always feel better. Always, always. Birds are there, things are there, the trees are there, the wind, the mud, things doing things.
Oh, is your bag, Elspeth? This one?
Always
Yeah.
feel better.
Okay, sorry, I was looking for a plastic bag. Not rummaging through your possessions.
Yeah.
You got a spare plastic bag, haven't you?
No, that's what I was looking for. That's
There's plenty
Where
around.
do you
There's
live?
plenty around. There's one here.
I'm based in Bath.
Oh,
Do you want a spare one?
Bristol.
Yeah.
Do you want a spare one, too?
Travelling around a lot.
Okay.
Do you want a
Doing
spare one?
festival.
not right. Can I just do this quickly because for Parasuram?
Parasuram, he's gone.
The festival too?
Para's
Oh,
gone.
he's gone.
He is gone festival too. Parasuram festival.
Oh, where
So-
did I put the garland?
We've just come out of Ireland on the tour.
Oh.
Before that we were in Scandinavia. Before that we were at Glastonbury.
Were you?
Yeah.
You were at
Massive-
Glastonbury?
Yeah.
Hare Krishna's at Glastonbury?
Oh yeah.
Every year.
Every year since 1970.
You're kidding. Hey.
We served 11,000 plates of prasadam.
1994, I bought my big sound system down and we had the Hare Krishna rock band. And we were told by the Glastonbury organisers that we were just too loud and went on all night and that we'd never be allowed to do it again. We got so many people come in the tent, it was mad. The tent even almost fell down because there were so many people there. Mad it was. Back in 94 that was. But
It's one
now,
of the main kind of attractions, if you like.
Yeah.
as soon as everything finished, right, they strike up. So I was mixing the sound every night for 11 o'clock at night till
As
about
soon as everything else
6 in the morning. It's mad.
the Hare Krishna
Totally mad.
all the other bars have closed.
The tent almost fell down because there were so many people in it. Krishna rock band. And they said never again.
Yeah, well, too loud. What do you mean? Because what about the other groups? There must have been much.
No, there's a curfew at Glastonbury.
Oh, I see.
I'd get up from the sound desk, go to the stage and pick up a mic or something. Someone's unconscious across the sound desk. It was just crazy. And the tent almost fell down. People were just they were crawling underneath the tent to try and get in. all night for 3 nights with this Christian
So they
rock band.
broke the curfews.
Yeah, so everyone just tripping out was thinking, wow, where's this noise coming from? Because it's really loud. I had a big sound system at the time, 2,000 watt sound system. First time I'd really taken it out, and yeah, the organisers said, you know, you can never do this again.
It's all your fault.
Yeah, it's my
We're
fault.
not, you know, we're not placed up in the greenfields area with the kind of Buddhists and the hippies and you know, we're in the kind of mainstream area with all the kebab shops and all the bars.
It's in the
all
marketplace.
the main
It's in
drags.
the marketplace.
I've never been there.
So thousands of people, you know, I reckon around 20,000 people heard the holy names for the first
Especially if
time.
they're charging up their mobile phones.
You know, and we're considered kind of mainstream. You know,
Yeah, in the main market.
Do you have retreats?
Yeah, in Ireland, where he's just come from,
Really?
there's a big place called
Also,
Innisfrach.
Scotland, I was just talking to the mother who runs it.
They run week-long spiritual retreats.
Do they?
It's in a temple I joined in, which is a big old stately home in an island in a lake, Loch Earn, in the middle of a nature reserve, and they do spiritual retreats there for a week, or just go and hang out.
Bet you can't take your dogs, can you?
You need to contact them and ask them.
Yeah.
Because they have lots of outdoor space.
Lake Island Retreat, Hare Krishna Lake Island Retreat, that's the one in Israel. Yeah. Don't know what happens in Scotland, but yeah.
Scotland, it's a beautiful place. It's they also are advertised in various.
Is it Les Mahago?
I don't remember the name.
All right.
Because I've only been there when I went with Parasuram and we were doing Rath Yatra, so we arrived late at night and we drove there in the morning. It's beautiful.
Probably Les Mahago.
And it's also advertised in these, you know, these spiritual health magazines, and people just can go there for a retreat.
That's it.
They don't have to be hardcore Hare Krishnas.
Yes. Good.
Right, sounds fabulous. Both those places, Ireland and Scotland, they're just amazing, aren't they?
Yeah.
Beautiful places.
Beautiful countryside and all that.
I want to take this photo.
You're going to take it home, are you?
Well, it's for the crows. They come early in the morning.
Yeah, the crows, eh?
6 o'clock. I used to call them Ronnie and Reggie after the praise.
The crows, the craze. Anyone for a drink that hasn't been touched? Yeah. There you go.
Ronnie and Reggie.
Ronnie and Reggie.
Now I've got the children of Ronnie and Reggie.
Did they ever have children? He was homosexual, one of those guys, wasn't he?
Yeah.
One of the crows.
And then he got married to some
Oh yeah.
mole.
Someone like Barbara Windsor.
Yeah. Ronnie! She wrote a book on him or something, but I think she read it a couple of times.
Do you want these Christians?
Yeah, put them in a pile and put them on the seat at the back there.
Can I ask something? You can probably name not there. I've got some morning programme and all music at home. Can I take a pair of bells?
No.
They have to stay here, don't they?
They've got to stay here to keep some. Yeah, we just use them a lot. And you can, they're only cheap. Just go to Soho Street. They've got some there or the Manor. They will sell you a set in the shop.
I'm going to Soho on Wednesday.
Yeah, just get something simple there. Oh, take care. See you again. Thank you. Right,
I've got some nice steeds last week.
yeah, just get them from there.
Yeah, and then they're just mine. I think what I like.
Yeah, because Para lives on such a low budget. Whatever he does is such a low budget donations. And the organisation is huge, you know what I mean? But this is a totally separate entity what Para does here with the charity.
And he does so much.
He doesn't get supported by the big temple.
No?
No, it's just basically what he does and the crew that he's got, which are very devoted to support him. So, yeah, that's what I do when I come in this country and just do as much service as I can.
Bye everyone.
Take care. See you tomorrow, yeah?
Yeah.
What time are you getting there?
Croydon, you mean? Sunday.
That's on Sunday.
Sunday.
I'm not sure. I'm driving the
We'll tell
caravan.
Giri wanted me to go.
It'll be about 11.
Right, so Giri wanted me to go. Say Cosmic's going with Para. Just let me know he's coming with Para, alright?
I'll text him and let him know.
Yeah, alright.
Alright.
Okay, see you. Move on.
Okay. I forgot that I had some little canolas for doing.
So this is, he does all
I
this.
remember the time when I first saw that.
Really?
Yep.
Quite something, isn't it?
Right, I'll take this. What's your name?
Colleen.
And do you want to keep in touch so that we can update on when the brighter affair is? Because there is a coach going from Soho Street that is £5, and I can't afford it. I can't afford it. So,
Come with me.
but also what I find with the Soho Street coaches, if they have a coach going through some of these rough areas, They always get there late.
No, I don't really know, but
hurry on,
traffic, so we
Yeah,
just
thank you.
leave the outside, and then they always come back early. So you miss most of the festival.
Well, you know what? If I take my dogs and stay there with